It's Big Board Sports with Roger Wyland on 104.5 The Team.
It's an NFL football-filled Friday show. Freddie Coleman joins us, as always, from ESPN. Freddie and Fitz. I listened to Freddie on the way home. And good morning, Freddie. How are you?
I'm good, my man. How are you, Roger?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Happy holidays to you and your family.
Absolutely. Same to you and yours and everybody in the Capital District.
So I was listening last night before I get to football, just to prove I was listening. I'll let you sound off a little bit on Phil Jackson. He's kind of stirred it up here a little bit with comments regarding LeBron, got LeBron all wound up on the whole posse derogatory comment, and then kind of calls out Carmelo Anthony after he scored 35, talking about how he holds onto the ball too long in the triangle offense. How about your take on the mindset really of Phil Jackson here with his New York Knicks team?
Well, I think that's a dangerous place to get into, the mind and the mindset of Phil Jackson when you think about it, trying to get the New York Knicks to be relevant again. And Phil Jackson, to me, has always had that smugness about him. We saw it when he coached the Chicago Bulls. We saw that when he coached the Los Angeles Lakers. I just think he looks at this generation of players, whether it's his own player, Carmelo Anthony, or Steph Curry of Golden State, LeBron James of Cleveland, and he knows that they're never going to measure up to the guys that he was around, whether it's Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant. But that doesn't mean that you can go out there and undermine what you're trying to do when you need a guy like Carmelo Anthony to make sure that's going to work. And I know if I'm Carmelo Anthony, I give him all the credit in the world for taking the high road on this and not making this Phil versus Melo. But at a certain point, if you're Phil Jackson, just putting stuff out there, and you need that guy to make sure that this is going to work. I'm still trying to figure out, Roger, what is his end game and how that's going to be a positive thing for the New York Knicks. But I guess we should not be surprised because we've seen and heard this smugness before from Phil Jackson when he was part of 11 championship-winning teams in the NBA.
Well, I read a comment this morning from Eric Spoelstra, a head coach in Miami, said he thinks Phil just gets bored. He just gets bored, and he just starts
dancing. I saw that, too, as well. I'm glad you mentioned that because I'm sure Eric Spoelstra is probably thinking Phil Jackson would love to coach because that's what he made his name, made his Hall of Fame name as. But at 71 years of age with health problems, he knows he can't do it. So at a certain point, running an organization, I think, has turned out to be a lot tougher than he could have imagined. It's more involved than he could have imagined. So he has other people doing the duties that he should be doing. So at a certain point, you can only have so much buttermilk in a roll barn to watch TV. You have to do something if you're Phil Jackson. And this is his way of doing something, but it turns out it's too much of something, and it's not helping him. But more importantly, it's not helping the New York Knicks, who now have to deal with this distraction and answer that when it comes to the media while trying to concentrate on winning basketball games.
Freddie Coleman every Friday with us here on Big Board Sports. Roger Wyland, Zach, by Friday morning. All right, let's get to the headline game, at least in the capital region. It'll be a big game nationally, too. Should draw a high rating. What's your thoughts on who wins and why Sunday night? Dallas Cowboys, the only loss they have, Freddie, and week one, to the Giants. Giants need this game to stay relevant in terms of wild card and playoffs. What happens Sunday night at MetLife?
I think the Cowboys are going to find a way to win and clinch the NFC Eastern Championship, and here's why. We know that the Giants have been known to play up to their competition and down to their competition. They didn't play that badly last Sunday versus Pittsburgh defensively, but the offensive line, Eric Flowers, when you're being regarded as a turnstile, that's a bad thing to have next to your name, and he's had those struggles being a first-round draft pick trying to find his way. But the Cowboys have always been able that anytime somebody's thrown an obstacle in front of them, they've been able to jump over it and jump over by leaps and bounds. People wondered if they could go on the road and beat Green Bay. They did that. Could they go into Pittsburgh and win that game? They did that. Could they beat the Washington Redskins a second time? They were able to do that. I think having guys like a Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott who are used to winning and used to being in those situations has really served them well in addition to their production. But I think Dallas also has this chip on their shoulder because they know people don't believe they're as good as their record, that people look at them and say, yeah, we know you only have one loss, you're on this winning streak, but how good are you? If anything, that's the best motivation you can have if you're Jason Garrett, the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, because now you don't have to have players self-motivate them, and you don't have to do it. That motivation is always going to be out there. I think they're looking forward to coming into not only a hostile environment, but it's not going to be a warm weather game. It's going to be a cold weather game. It's going to be a knockdown, drag-out game. They know that pressure's on the Giants. That the Giants lose this game, their playoff hopes could be in peril if they're not careful. Dallas knows they're in the catbird seat, but that doesn't mean they're going in there with a okay, whatever attitude. They believe they're going to go in there and show people that we are the best team in this division, that we are the best team in the NFL. And I think what's all said and done, what could be a close game, what should be a close game, I think the Cowboys find a way to win that one.
Freddie, the Jets are going to San Francisco, really a meaningless game, but not for Todd Bowles. Is he coaching for his job here the final 4 weeks, or do you think he's safe no matter what happens?
I don't think he's coaching for his job at all, Roger, because, and I get it, people saw the embarrassing performance that we saw Monday night where the players did not want to be there, especially on defense, playing the Indianapolis Colts. I'm still trying to figure out how all of that is on Todd Bowles, because he was yelling at guys on the sidelines and guys were not responding. So if I'm Todd Bowles, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to find out exactly who wants to be here and who does not want to be here. But I don't believe he's coaching for his job at all, because let's look at last year, what he was able to do. Essentially went 10 games with Ryan Fitzpatrick having a great year, but a lot of plays that were made for him were made by the wide receivers, because he had a lot of bad throws and the receivers bailed him out. You usually don't have back-to-back years like that, and we saw that with Ryan Fitzpatrick at the quarterback position. We've seen a defense that we thought could be good, that I think still is good, but having issues in the back end. That being said, I don't think the Jets are going to pull the plug on Todd Bowles. Things will have to really completely collapse the final 4 weeks of the regular season for the Jets to think about moving on from him after 2 years. I think at least he gets another year to see exactly what kind of pieces they need. But I don't think he's coaching for his job in the final 4 games. Although I will say this, do not lose to a 1-11 football team, because if you do, those whispers are going to get louder about your job security in the media when it comes to Todd Bowles.
Freddie, Tyrod Taylor has come under fire as of late, especially by the media there in Buffalo. This past week, he actually walked out of a press conference, said, "I'm done talking." GM Doug Whaley said that he's going to evaluate that position at the year's end. In your estimation, do you think Tyrod Taylor is the guy moving forward in Buffalo, regardless how the rest of the season plays out?
I think he's completely the guy, and the question I have for Doug Whaley, the GM, who are you going to find out there that's going to be better for your football team? Because the way that this offense has been able to percolate along, and I get his frustration. You have a big lead on the Oakland Raiders. You don't score in the second half against a defense that has been slim shady at best. So I get the frustration that you believe that you should have been better that game and that this team should have a better record by this point. But Tyrod Taylor has been better than average for the quarterback position with the Buffalo Bills. And, of course, he's gotten help from LaShawn McCoy, and Tyrod Taylor's helped him as well. So I understand his frustration, like I said, but to all of a sudden say he's not the guy, the GM saying we're going to reevaluate that position, I wonder how much of that is that Doug Whaley is worried about his job status. If he's worried about that along with Rex Ryan as a head football coach, and now he's probably trying to put everybody on notice to save his job. What's the old line? The old line is if you're in charge of something, you want to make sure you get rid of people first before they come after you. This way there's a buffer. That seems to be the case with that statement by Doug Whaley, putting it out there saying, okay, everybody's on notice. We're going to reevaluate the quarterback position. He's concerned that people are going to evaluate his position, and then he has to worry about maybe staying on as a general manager. So I think that's where that came from with him. But Tyrod Taylor, to me, has not been the problem offensively with the Buffalo Bills. Is he an elite quarterback? Of course not. Is he a second-tier quarterback? No. But who's going to be out there better for you if you decide that this guy is not the guy for you? Then essentially you're starting over with another quarterback next year, and who knows how that's going to turn out for the Buffalo Bills.
Freddie, a couple of just quick predictions on the way out here. Who do you like? Do you think Buffalo can beat Pittsburgh Sunday?
No, I think Pittsburgh's going to win this game. It won't be easy because Buffalo has made it hard on everybody ever since they started playing for Rex Ryan's job, but it won't be easy. But Pittsburgh is starting to get healthier, especially on defense. Ryan Shazier, their linebacker, has been terrific. And keep an eye on Mike Mitchell, their safety. Only Eric Berry in the AFC from Kansas City has played better safety than Mike Mitchell. He is a thumper on the back line. That defense is getting healthier. That offense is healthy again. It's going to be tough for Buffalo to win. I don't think they'll do it. I like Pittsburgh winning that game.
Who do you like with Seattle and Green Bay at Green Bay Sunday?
Yeah, I tell you what, losing Earl Thomas in the secondary hurt Seattle, but getting Michael Bennett back will sort of alleviate that a little bit. I think this offense continues to come along, although Aaron Rodgers since Week 7 has 19 touchdown passes. That is the most in the National Football League. So he's back in his groove, although I don't think he was ever out of his groove. I think Green Bay understands what time it is. They know they can ill afford any losses. I think they find a way to win this game at home against Seattle, keep a good bit of distance between Seattle and Dallas with the best record in the NFC. I think Green Bay wins this game at home on Sunday.
Final stop, Monday Night Football, Baltimore at New England.
People don't realize the Baltimore Ravens, that's the one team that does not have a fear of New England because they beat them in the playoffs or came close to beating them in the playoffs before. They have the number one ranked defense in the National Football League, and for my money, they have the best defense in the NFL, not just by the numbers. And Joe Flacco loves games like this, seeing Tom Brady looking into the belly of the beast and going in there and ripping his heart out. The Patriots continue to do things without Rob Gronkowski. We know that's going to hurt, but they love games like this too. I think the Patriots find a way to get this done because they know this. If they lose this game and then they win out, if they and Kansas City have the same record, well, Kansas City's going to have home field advantage in the AFC playoffs. New England wants people to come to them, not the other way around. I think they find a way to get this done and get this win, and what should be maybe the best game of the weekend between New England and Baltimore.
Hey, Freddie, I just want to say you gave us words to live by this morning. You can only have so much buttermilk in the roll bun.
Absolutely. Seriously. I mean, I know it's going to be my time where I'm just going to go to bed by 8:30 at night, but I got a long way to go before I get to that. Let's put it that way.
We're going to put that in the archives right there, my man. Freddie, always a pleasure. I enjoy listening to you every night on my way home from work. You do a phenomenal job, you and Fitz. Keep up the great work. We'll talk to you this time next week.
Absolutely. Appreciate the kind words. And, gentlemen, have a great weekend, and all my best to everybody, my family in the Capital District.
Thank you, Freddie. Freddie Coleman with us here on Big Board Sports.